The mental drug that makes a woman addicted to you is not a manipulation tactics. These are psychological triggers that makes a woman think about you non-stop. Look at it this way. Some men seem like they don't put in any effort at all, and yet you see women flocking around these men, and you're wondering to yourself, what is it they do that I don't do? Why are they special? What's going on? There's always something more powerful than just being physically attractive or texting and calling her and just showing her how much you care about her. And if a woman is able to associate you with these feelings, she may find herself thinking about you even when you're not around. She will look forward to talking with you and even replaying past conversations in her head, like you don't hook her. When you get her to that point where she's asking herself, why am I thinking about this guy so much? Like I can't stop thinking about him. That's the mental drug I'm referring to in this video. And I'm going to share with you the things you would do to make her begin to see you like this, especially if it's that woman that you're so interested in. So stay tuned, you're going to learn a lot. The first one is recognize and compliment her inner qualities. You see, us women were used to hearing these words, you're beautiful, you look gorgeous, your outfit is just stunning, it looks so good on you. Even though that is lovely, if you can go beyond just the physical attribute, honestly, any woman will think about you. A lot of beautiful women struggle to prove to the world that they are smart and they have a brain just behind the face. And you see, if you're able to recognize these qualities that only she knows and can see, this is just a game changer. A typical example is a lady who is able to draw up a very detailed, well analyzed business plan. With this era of AI, anybody can sound smart, anybody can seem like they are very intelligent, but then you can always know someone who is genuinely intelligent, who is smart. So when you see a piece of work that she presents and you look at it and you know that indeed she put in the work and she's actually very intelligent, and you compliment her based on that. You see, this is not about her lipstick or the way her lips look or her hair or her shoe or her clothes or the way she walks. It's about her brain. She's going to look at you differently because now you're able to see her inwardly. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is how you create that effect in her mind and make her begin to look at you and then think in her head, okay, he might not have all the looks that I want, but this guy actually sees me. He knows that I'm intelligent. He appreciates who I am. This is how you get in her head. This is not even any kind of manipulation. And that is why I always say, if you know that genuinely in your heart of hearts, she does not possess these qualities, I think there's no need for you to begin to tell her that she's intelligent, she's this, she's that. That will come off as flattery. And trust me, one thing about us women is that we're very instinctive. Like when you're lying to me, I know. If I'm beautiful, I know. If I'm ugly, I know. If I have shortcomings in certain areas, I know. So when you come up and you tell me that, oh, I'm so excellent in those same areas that I know I feel very insecure about, I'll just know that this guy, you're just trying to get something from me and I don't know what it is. And to a lot of ladies, it's a turn off. So the best thing you can do is be honest. Identify the qualities she has that are non-physical. It can be her voice, the way she talks, or the way she thinks. You can just tell her something like, I just like to pick your mind on certain matters. These are all non-physical compliments, and we women, we honestly appreciate that. The second thing is that anticipation can be more powerful than constant access. Some men get this wrong by believing that they need to always be available. Like before she says jump, you're asking how high. Now, I'm not saying it should be cold and insensitive such that when your woman calls you and she needs help, you just, tell her that you're not available, you're not going to be there. I'm talking about those who practically abandon their life just to be there. You see, there's a thin line between being emotionally available and being too available. If you understand this, then you just know that you're already on the right path to making a woman think about you nonstop. You don't have to text her all day or not allowing the conversation to end just because you want to prove to her that you're so in love with her. I've seen these scenarios many times where a man calls someone he's in love with, probably they're in two different cities. And then he's like, yeah, you end the call. I'm not going to end the call. I just want to hear your voice. The other lady is like, yeah, you end the call. And they keep going back and forth and back and forth. I find it very funny. Like, why are you doing that? Now, this is no shade for those who do that, okay? But I just think that call her, tell her what you want to tell her. When it's time to end the call, end the call. Be very, very intentional. Okay? Intentional with creating the kind of feelings you want her to have about you. All right, if there's anything you want to tell her, you want to call her as usual, check up on her and just discuss a few things. You discuss that, wish her good night and sweet dreams, and then off you go to bed. So that the next day you're going to be up going about your day, going about your purpose, being a fulfilled man for her, because that is how she's going to even look at you again and respect you and trust you. Imagine that you're on the phone with her until 12 a.m. every day. How are you going to be productive the next day? At some point, she begin to look at you like this one, you know, get another thing wey they do now. Later, they call me, they call me. You see, we can be very funny. She might not tell you this, but amongst her friends, maybe she will discuss it with them, or she will think about it. She'll be like, this one, every time he call me, he doesn't even want to end the call. Sometimes I get tired of picking his call. He will just be talking and talking and talking. I'm even feeling sleepy most of the time. I'm telling you fact. You see, I once dated this guy before I got married. I once dated this guy who would always call me and would talk about himself non-stop. Like this guy would talk about his mom, his past relationship. I'm talking about ours. No jokes. Hey, the funny thing is that at that time where I was then, I was still in school and we had little network problems. So sometimes when he calls me, if I'm inside the house, the network is always very cranky, like it's always breaking. So I'll have to go outside just to be able to hear him and have that conversation with him. And this guy will be on and on and on, not minding the fact that I am outside. My point here is that be intentional. You call her, you tell her what you want to tell her, you end the call. The next day again, you go. She will see you as a no-nonsense man, and trust me, that is where you want to be. Talking about anticipation, you see, with that, my friend, then I already know how the conversations usually end. He would usually start up with his mom, how his mom is always bothering him, asking for help, this, that, and then he would transcend to talking about his girlfriend who dumped him. Even though he has told me that an umpteen time, like sometimes I wonder, do you not know that you've told me this severally already? I am tired of hearing this same thing. I am here. This is a new relationship. Why am I hearing about your ex? That leads me to the next point. Never put a woman on a pedestal. You know how you profess love sometimes and you say something like, oh, this woman, if not for you in my life, I would have just been dead and forgotten. Now I know innocently you're just professing love to this individual who has really made a very huge change in your life for the good. But then again, if you're not careful, you're going to come across as a man whose life had no meaning whatsoever before she came into your life. And you see, women were always particular about one thing: a man who is purpose driven, who is focused. I mean, it can't be focused, purpose driven, and steadily pursuing your goals and then be able to put a woman on a pedestal. Women are instinctively drawn to men who are purposeful. The moment she realizes that she's not the center of your life, she's drawn to you. She wants to now be a part of your life because she always imagines the bigger picture. And a man who is focused, goal driven, who is always serious with his business, most likely a man like that will end up being successful. And we always want to be taken care of, so to speak. So when you put her on a pedestal and abandon every other thing that matters to you in your life, including your friends, your relationships outside that romantic relationship, it tends to become something that's going to be a problem for you in the future. Why? Because if peradventure the relationship does not work out, maybe you end up breaking up. Eventually, what happens? You've lost your friends, you're now lonely. It's going to hit hard for you. You see, that is why it is always advisable that you strike a balance. Now, I'm not against you professing love. Of course, profess love to me. I love to be pampered. I love to be appreciated. But I also love a man who is focused and not derailed or distracted whatsoever. Balance is just the key word. Another thing is being emotionally unpredictable. This one is a game changer. When you're a kind of person who is easily predicted, like I can easily know what your next move is going to be. It's like, yes, I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to say. But if you have this a little bit of sense of mystery about you, then you keep me anticipating and thinking, okay, what is he going to do now? What is he going to ask me? What will be the next line of action? You see, that is intrigue. And one of the reasons why a woman will think about you long term is because she's intrigued by you. Let's say you're in a room full of people and someone is purposely throwing shit at you. Maybe it's expected for you to just react and shut them down and all of that. If nobody can easily predict your next action, then there's some form of mystery about you. So be a little bit unpredictable and also control your emotions. You see, it's good to be vulnerable as a man, but then you need to understand that when it comes to your vulnerability, it's not every woman out there that can handle it. Some women cannot handle any form of vulnerability from a man. For example, you go to your girlfriend and you're all in tears, you're rolling on the floor, you're holding her, hugging her, pressing her, and you're like, oh God, my life has come to an end. This has happened. If she is not matured and she's not able to handle that level of vulnerability, she'll just freak out and maybe even break up with you. And you'll be like, what kind of heartless person is this? It's not like that. She's probably overwhelmed and she cannot even handle the whole thing. So when it comes to being vulnerable, you need to understand what kind of woman she is. How long have you known her? Can you trust her? You have to trust someone, have some level of trust before you're able to show that kind of vulnerability. So with all of these, you can see that attraction is not always about physical attributes or dispositions, even though that is important. I mean, you need to look good. For starters, you need to smell good. I shouldn't be very uncomfortable around you. Otherwise, how am I supposed to respond to you trying to have a conversation with me? You get, if you have bad breath, for example, and you try to strike a conversation with someone, maybe a stranger, the moment she perceives your breath, you might not know it, but she would immediately pull away from that conversation and just shut it down. Why? Because she cannot stand your breath. So it's important that you check out all of the physical appearance. I mean, you don't need to have all of the finest of clothes, but just be clean, just be neat, present yourself in a very mature way, and then let your intrinsic values show, things that you embody that cannot be seen with the physical eyes, things like your emotional control, things like not putting a woman on a pedestal, forgetting every other thing that matters, just focusing on this one person. Even if your business is going bad, you tell yourself something like, oh, at least I have my Mary Magdalene, she's always here for me, whatever, she's not going to leave me. No, that is going to work against you in the long run. I hope this is helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this point, do well to leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not done so yet, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.